Chapter 32. The Relapse. Day 71. Residual data. The silence in the basement was absolute. Arthur Vane sat on the floor, his back against the wall. He was alive. This fact was a statistical improbability that his mind was still trying to process. He was weak. His muscles felt like wet paper. His hands were still trembling, but it wasn't the violent, bone-shaking frequency of the acute withdrawal. It was a low-voltage hum, the idle vibration of a machine running on reserve power. He needed to calibrate. He needed water. He needed calories. He needed to clean the biohazard zone he had created. Arthur stood up. Took 3 tries. He held onto the desk for support. He walked to the bathroom. The toilet tank was empty. He had drained it yesterday. He turned the faucet handle. A brown sputter, then a trickle of cold, rusty water. He cupped his hands. He drank. It tasted like iron pipes and mud. It was the best thing he had ever tasted. He splashed water on his face, scrubbing away the dried sweat and grime. He looked in the mirror. The face looking back was a stranger. Arthur Vane, the director, was gone. The sleek, shark-like predator in the bespoke suit had decomposed. In his place was a specter. His cheekbones were blades. His eyes were sunken craters, the dark circles underneath them looking like bruises. His hair was a matted nest. "System restart," he croaked. He walked back into the main room. He couldn't live in this filth. Efficiency required order. He started to clean. He moved slowly, like a diver on the ocean floor. He gathered the trash, the torn shirt, the empty bottles, the ruined papers. He put them in the trash bag he had used as a poncho. He dragged the heavy shelving unit away from the door. Scrape. Something rolled out from under the bottom shelf. A small, yellow cylinder. Arthur froze. It rolled across the uneven floorboards and came to a stop against his bare foot. He looked down. It wasn't a pill bottle. It was a single capsule. Gabapentin 300 milligrams. It must have fallen when he poured the starter pack onto the floor. It had rolled under the heavy metal shelf, hiding in the dust, waiting for this exact moment. Arthur stared at it. It was just plastic and powder. It weighed less than a gram. But to Arthur, it looked like the Monolith from 2001, A Space Odyssey. It was vibrating with potential energy. 300 milligrams. It wouldn't get him high. It wouldn't give him God mode. But it would stop the static. The noise in his head, the low, grinding anxiety that was already creeping back in now that the physical agony was fading, would vanish. For 4 hours, maybe 5, he could feel safe. He could feel the cotton again. Arthur knelt. He picked up the pill. His fingers brushed the dust off the yellow casing. Logic gate. Option A, consumption. Result, immediate relief. Cessation of tremor. Option B, disposal. Result, continued suffering. Reality. He brought the pill to his face. He remembered the feeling. The warm bath. The silence. The ability to talk to people without wanting to peel his skin off. Fixed me, a voice whispered. It sounded like the director. It made me better. I was efficient. I was loved. No, another voice answered. It deleted you. He looked at the computer monitor. It was still dark. The backup drive was still plugged in. If he took the pill, he would just be hitting the snooze button on the alarm. And when the alarm rang again, it would be louder. He thought of the bodega, the holding cell, the hospital, the shattered glass of his balcony. He thought of Elena's face when she said, "You're not code, Arthur." He held the pill over the trash bag. His hand shook. His brain screamed, just one, just to taper, just to land the plane softly. I am not a plane, Arthur whispered. I am the pilot. He squeezed the capsule. The plastic dented. He didn't drop it in the trash. That was too passive. He needed to destroy it. He placed the pill on the concrete floor. He picked up one of the heavy hard drives from the shelf. An old HDD heavy as a brick. He raised the drive. Execute. He brought it down. Crunch. He lifted the drive. The yellow plastic was shattered. The white powder was scattered in the dust, mixing with the grime of the floor. It was just powder. It wasn't magic. It wasn't love. It was just chemical dust. Arthur stared at the white smear. He felt a wave of grief so intense it almost knocked him over. He was mourning the loss of the buffer. He was mourning the loss of the easy way out. But beneath the grief, there was something else. A small, cold spark. Pride. He swept the powder into the trash bag with his hand. He wiped his hand on his pants. He stood up. He was still shaking. He was still hungry. He was still in pain. But the variable was gone. He walked to the door. He turned the handle. It opened. Arthur Vane stepped out into the alleyway. The air was cool. He took a deep breath. It hurt. Good, he said.